Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I put a poll out on my YouTube community tab about 3 days ago. I'm going to be doing more of these polls as leading up to the 2022 midterms and the 2024 election about who people wanted the 2024 Republican nominee to be if Donald Trump doesn't run. Now, personally, I would still vote for Donald Trump in a Republican primary, even over Ron DeSantis at this point. I think Trump has some unfinished business he needs to take care of if he does decide to run. However, the guy is going to be in his late 70s. He may decide to just retire and pass the torch to somebody else. And Ron DeSantis is leading this poll significantly, and I believe Ron DeSantis probably would be the best candidate in 2024 if Trump doesn't run. So I will be talking about this in this video. Won't be doing like an election prediction, but we're going to look at the electoral map. We're going to be looking at several other things that play into this as well. But first, I do have to tell you guys about my friends over at Noble Gold. So take a look at this, guys. A 5-ounce solid silver Apollo 11 coin like this could be yours for free because it's Silver Month over at Noble Gold. And like it or not, we have a new administration here. And one of the things that they're working on is the climate, and renewables need solar panels, electric circuits, and lots of other gadgets that use, you guessed it, silver. With a projected $2 trillion of investment, there has never been a better time to profit from the future with your silver IRA. You can visit their website today at noblegoldinvestments.com. Again, that is noblegoldinvestments.com. So talking about this poll that I put out, Ron DeSantis is killing it in the Republican primary choice if Trump doesn't win. Now, it is true, a lot more of my audience is, right-wing populist type, more so than establishment conservative, so it is a little bit skewed. However, I would say that overall, by and large, my audience is relatively representative of people that did vote for Donald Trump. In the 2016 election, I'd say we have a decent size age distribution, probably a little bit lower than, average. But it shows that a lot of the Trump wing, which is the largest wing of the Republican Party, is choosing DeSantis with a, 3-2 margin over other candidates combined. Obviously, Nikki Haley is down at 11%. Josh Hawley surprised me by being as low as 9%. But DeSantis led by a massive margin, and he has a base behind him. He has rose to prominence as an executive. He did also spend time in Congress. He knows how to navigate Congress as well. He got Trump's endorsement back in, I think it was like 2010, 2011 when he originally first decided to run for Congress in Florida. And he's gotten Trump's blessing, and overall, he has been very effective as governor. He's actually very popular as governor in a state that's becoming increasingly red, that kind of has, aspects of it that are Southern, aspects of it that are Midwestern, even though it is, technically a Southern state. Florida has a lot of Midwestern influence, and DeSantis is somebody that can, relate to and enthuse the Trump base, especially if he does decide to put somebody like Josh Hawley as his VP. It definitely can. And a lot of people were saying DeSantis is not going to run because on Wikipedia it put him under, decline to run. However, he spoke of a different tune on Sunday. And I'm going to play this clip from Fox News where you can hear the fact that DeSantis is keeping his options open for a run for president in 2024. Take a listen.
By the way, are you going to try to translate those into votes for presidency? Are you going to run for president in 2024?
Well, we got a great governor's election in 2022, which will be very important for our state. And quite frankly, I think, it gives us the ability to keep the momentum going. So that's what we're focused on.
Focused on governorship.
Yep.
But is that a no to running for president?
We have 2022 to worry about.
So he didn't say it's a no. He said, yeah, we have to worry about 2022, obviously. But he didn't say no, and that is very important. And I think Ron DeSantis is a very good choice. It's funny because of all the slander that they've tried to throw at this guy, it just backfired. They always say Florida's reckless because they were open and, New York and California weren't when it came to the virus. But check this out. You could look at this in Florida. When you adjust for all of the factors, hospitalizations per 1 million, these states relatively uniform in terms of population density, Florida below California and New York when it comes to this. And Florida has been open for most of the time. New York and California actually have not. And the media is praising Cuomo and they're praising Newsom, but when it comes to somebody like Ron DeSantis, who decides to open and still does fairly well, no, they have to silence him because he really just goes against the narrative. And if you look at COVID-19 deaths as a percentage of all deaths in the states of California, the states of Florida, California is much higher than Florida, despite the fact that Florida should have higher numbers because Florida has a much older population on average. When you adjust for age, the discrepancy grows even bigger. So already you can see that Ron DeSantis, they can't hit him for the virus. They were, trashing him a little bit this summer for it. That's gone, as I expect. His approval rating, by the way, which really didn't go any, below 45% or so, that is rebounding up significantly. And he helped win Florida for Donald Trump. If you look at this, Donald Trump improved in much of Florida, especially in Miami-Dade County, but not just in Miami-Dade County. He improved in a lot of places. Even Hillsborough County, which is where Tampa is, very suburban county, didn't move at all. And much of the Panhandle and many other places in the state moved right, especially in, minority areas, Cuban, not just Cuban, but also Venezuelan, Puerto Rican, Mexican areas and Mexican communities, just Hispanic communities as a whole moved drastically to the right when it came down to the state of Florida. So you could look at this and you could see the map being filled in, and it was on election night early on because Florida does what you're supposed to do, and they count the mail-in ballots first. There's no 4 a.m. dumps, and it was very efficient, and Donald Trump won the state by a significant margin, and DeSantis probably would do a little bit better in terms of the suburbs. DeSantis would do a lot better nationwide in terms of the suburbs, and he would still get out the rural Trump base, in my opinion. And overall, that would make him a very formidable candidate to defeat in the 2024 election. However, DeSantis is not really an establishment guy. He has the blessings of a lot of, prominent right-wing populists and paleo-conservatives, as well as many people who are neocons and in the establishment. They're fine with him. He doesn't anger them the way that Trump does. However, he's still just as effective or even more effective than Donald Trump when it comes to policy. If you look at this, he actually took action at the state level against big tech. You talk about populism. I always said Ron DeSantis is probably not the best guy when it comes to economics issues. Well, looking more, deeper into his record, I actually decided to take that statement back. If you look at all of the things that he's doing, fining companies, doing everything that he possibly could do to take on big tech at the state level, it's very impressive. And, every state should be adopting these policies. If anything, they should be, part of the RNC platform, which they won't be. But somebody like Ron DeSantis, who can actually bring effective change, who is tough on big business, who's tough on immigration, who has relatively non-interventionist. We don't know much about Ron DeSantis' foreign policy, but he did tie himself to Trump a lot in the primary in regards to some of that type of rhetoric, which is very important moving forward, especially for the Republican Party, talking about accelerating the realignment. He does well with suburban voters. He does well with Hispanic voters. That's what the Republican Party needs to win. Now, right here is the 2020 election map. Automatically, if Ron DeSantis runs against Biden or Kamala Harris and they have an approval rating presumably in the high 40s or so, I think that he will be able to win fairly easily. I think maybe even Florida could be bumped up to a likely margin. I think Texas could be likely, although I think it would be closer to safe. He could flip back Georgia, although it probably will be too far gone for his reelection. He also will likely be able to flip back Arizona. I think he could flip back Nevada. North Carolina, I think he would improve in. Ohio and Iowa are probably going to be safe Republican at that point. And he's already at 270 given the new map. But at the same time, I still think that DeSantis can win the state of Wisconsin. I think he may lose Michigan. He may lose Pennsylvania. A lot of it does depend on his VP. But depending on the campaign that he does decide to run, I think it's very possible that he does well in some of those areas, especially because he has more suburban appeal than Donald Trump in many instances. Therefore, he could get it done hypothetically. But either way, this would probably be, an average performance for DeSantis. He could do better than this. He could do worse than this. Obviously, I think that New Mexico could be closer. Really depends, on the trend when it comes to Hispanic voters. But DeSantis is that guy who can appeal to the Trump base, but also does it effectively, has great optics. He is the king of optics. And also, He can appeal to the suburbs. He can bring some voters, on board who may like Trump's policy but are irrational when it comes to opposing the president because of his rhetoric, because he decides to tweet things that they don't like. It's just the way it is. But DeSantis, this is a guy who can go out there and get things done. And he's not brash about it necessarily. He's not bold about it, but he's effective. And that's what can win, and that's what we need moving forward if Donald Trump does decide to retire. If not, Donald Trump will run for president again. He will run for re-election. He will win. And he may do a little bit better in the suburbs here and there. It really depends on how he runs his campaign. Really depends on the national environment. We'll just have to see what happens in 2024. If Biden has an approval rating of 38%, which I'm pretty sure the media will do the best that they can do to keep it, above 43, I do believe that Donald Trump will be able to win fairly easily on the electoral map. He will probably improve in the suburbs. It'll be an uphill battle if Biden is roughly around 50, but, he's maxed out. But either way, Ron DeSantis is somebody who can go out there and win. This guy is the heir to the throne, in my opinion, of the Trump dynasty. If Trump decides to retire, the baton of the Republican Party will be passed to somebody, and it can't be passed to a Nikki Haley. It can't be passed to a Mike Pence. It's got to be passed to an authentic warrior. I think Ron DeSantis is probably the best bet. I think Hawley is decent, but I think he's more VP material. I think that, DeSantis, Noam ticket could do, well, be fairly interesting. A lot of people want a woman on the ticket. I don't think it's a requirement. I think people that think that way are just caving into the left's framework of identity politics and things like that. But either way, I think it would be a decent VP pick. Pretty much anybody in like the B or C tier of my 2024 presidential tier list would suffice, but we'll have to wait and see. But either way, 11,000 votes. This is a very large sample size, and big Ron DeSantis leading the charge, 59%. We'll see if he runs. We'll see if he gets it done. If not, hopefully Donald Trump will run because, Trump, DeSantis, Josh Hawley, maybe a few others. And other than that, it's not looking too bright for the future of the Republican Party. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. Become a member. Donate to the Patreon or subscribe. Star links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.